Look, we're honored to have our county partners with us today. And we have Commissioner Rodney Ellis of Precinct 1, and we have Commissioner Adrian Garcia, Precinct 2. The county judge will be, that's the county judge right there, virtually. How you doing, Judge? Congratulations, negative. Yeah. And then I have council members, Mayor Pro Tem Dave Martin, Councilmember David Robinson, Councilmember Edward Pollard, Chief Pena is also present with us today as well. All right, let me say good afternoon, and let me thank everyone for being here. And I certainly want to welcome our partners from Harris County Commissioners Court. Today we are going to focus on two important topics. Both are related to COVID-19 and the impact of the pandemic that the pandemic is having on the city of Houston and Harris County. We're going to first start with the homeless initiative. We'll discuss today's testing results secondarily. Over the years, the city of Houston and Harris County, we have struggled with the challenge of reducing homelessness. As the city densifies, those who are sleeping on our streets become more noticeable, and that has been amplified during the pandemic. Houston is a model city for addressing the homeless population, but we must do more. In fact, we all recognize we must do more, and no one entity can address it effectively alone. It takes everyone working together, and everyone must play a part. At the beginning of the year, when I took the oath of office for the second term, I identified homelessness as a priority. I called on private businesses and nonprofit organizations to contribute to solving the challenge. I said we needed an additional $50 million to decrease the city's homeless population by 4,000 by the end of 2021, and that they need housing with supportive and wraparound services. Today, we stand before you, both the city and the county, proudly to say that we are taking a collective step towards fulfilling the goal of reducing homelessness in our city and in our county. Together with Harris County and the private sector, the city of Houston we have created a joint $65 million community-wide COVID-19 homeless housing program that would permanently house 5,000 homeless individuals in less than 2 years. I too want to acknowledge Mark Eichenbaum. Where's Mark? Mark, you need to be standing somewhere in front. I want to acknowledge Mark. Mark has been the point person for me and for the city in this effort, and I want to acknowledge Andy Eakin for also, where's Andy? And there is Andy. I want to acknowledge both of them for their work in this effort and working very closely with the county. This $65 million program is the largest, most ambitious homeless initiative in the history of the city or county. But it is not about the amount of funding, but rather the number of lives that the initiative will transform, more than doubling the number of homeless individuals that are annually housed. And I want to acknowledge Mike Nichols, who's over our Homeless Coalition partner. Mike, there he is. Mike, let me just acknowledge you from the very beginning as well. Due to underlying health conditions and a lack of access to facilities, people experiencing homelessness are especially susceptible to the coronavirus and are at a higher risk of experiencing severe symptoms. According to the CDC and HUD, it is imperative that we get our at-risk brothers and sisters off the streets and out of the shelters and keep them from filling the emergency rooms for non-crisis care. The situation is only compounded with the prospect of thousands falling into homelessness because of the economic impact of the virus. We are responding now to protect the health of an at-risk homeless individuals, prevent potential communal spread, and assist those forced into homelessness by COVID-19. The program will be under the umbrella of our regional homeless response system, the Way Home, and managed by the collaboration of the homeless. The program is divided into three major components. One, bridge to permanent supportive housing, providing long-term housing with wraparound supportive services for our most vulnerable homeless, primarily living on our streets and in our encampments. Two, rapid rehousing, providing up to a 1 year of rental assistance and case management for 1,700 individuals and families who are currently or newly homeless. And 3, diversion, providing a range of case management services, including short-term rental assistance to prevent 2,000 individuals from entering the homeless system. Make no mistake, this is an emergency response to an infectious disease, but one that will have a permanent impact by significantly decreasing our homeless population. Our annual homeless counts reveal that after substantial investment from the city and county since 2012, we had a more than 55% reduction in homelessness. However, over the past 3 years, the size of our homeless population has remained stagnant, and although it takes a lot of work to prevent our homeless population from increasing, the city and county is not interested in just maintaining the status quo. We are not interested in small incremental reductions. We want, we need, and we will achieve a significant reduction of homelessness. And although much is unknown about the long-term impact of COVID-19, I anticipate this program will help us reduce our nightly homeless population by the end of the year, with even more significant reductions thereafter. Homelessness is too big of an issue for just the city or just the county. It takes both of us working together, and I can't say enough for the county judge and the Harris County commissioners for partnering with the city. They've already, as of yesterday, approved $18 million, and I know they will speak to that. And so I'm grateful to the partnership that we have, the collaboration that we have, and I think it speaks volumes for what lies ahead. It shouldn't matter which side of the street a homeless person is living on to determine whether they qualify for a city or county assistance. The truth is that homelessness knows no geographical borders. It affects every community and requires a community-wide response. The community-wide COVID-19 homeless housing program is our response, for in Houston and Harris County, we operate under the mantra, either we go big or we go home, and then if we go home, a lot of people will remain homeless. And so today, we take a significant step at reversing that trend. Houston alone will be putting in a little over $40 million to this program, and with the private sector, along with the county, that amount will be $65 million. And we expect over a 2-year period, more than 5,000 people will be addressed. Let me turn it now over to the county judge, Lena Hidalgo, who is with us virtually and staying safe. County Judge.
Thank you so much, Mayor. It's just so wonderful to join you and my colleagues in Commissioners Court, of course, City Council members. And I also want to acknowledge Mike Nichols and the coalition for all of the work that you guys have done. Mayor, I think you said it right. This is a historic effort. It is an issue that does not stop at the city boundaries or at the county boundaries. And that's why this effort is so unique, because we're breaking down silos between city and county, because it's a historic investment, $18 million that Commissioners Court passed unanimously yesterday. And because it is smart. It is a paradigm shift in the way we address homelessness. Homelessness is not an easy issue. You can't just send the police and ask them to pick up folks experiencing homelessness from the streets, and that's where it ends. You can't house somebody for 1 night or 2 nights or a week and expect that the issue will be fixed. Instead, we know that addressing homelessness in a proactive way, looking at longer term options for housing, and how we set up the folks experiencing homelessness to succeed and be able to have permanent housing, to address issues of substance use, mental health issues. That's the only way in which we can tackle homelessness. Of course, it's a difficult time. As we have this innovative approach, we all are bracing for an increase in the homeless population because of the wave of evictions that I know the city and the county have both worked very hard on, that we've been calling on our justices of the peace to help us out on, and that we continue to fight. But I trust that this will help mitigate the impact of what we see coming, and also that it represents a change in the approach in our county and in our city. This is not probably going to be a one-time solution. We're going to have to continue with this work, continue with these investments. But oftentimes the hardest thing is just to change that strategy, to identify the most strategic, smart way to address the problem. And I think we're finding it, and we're finding that we get there together. So Mayor, thank you so much for your partnership, and to my colleagues for your leadership and support on this. I think it's a proud day, and it's the beginning of a new approach. This is not a day to claim victory, but it's a new approach it will be incredibly important. And I will repeat with that briefly my remarks in Spanish. First, let me just darle las gracias al alcalde Turner, a mis colegas en la Corte de Comisionados, que hemos estado trabajando todos juntos en esta nueva estrategia, y a Mike Nichols, quien dirige la coalición para las personas sin hogar. Y es realmente esta una iniciativa innovadora. Es increíblemente importante la estrategia con la cual ataquemos este tema de la falta de vivienda. En el condado hemos ya venido innovando, en el condado, en la ciudad, pero este esfuerzo es realmente histórico. Primero, es una inversión histórica, 18 millones que ya ha otorgado o comprometido el condado el día de ayer por voto unánime. Todos los comisionados apoyaron esta inversión de 18 millones de dólares. La ciudad también, en adición, sus propios fondos. La estrategia es nueva, es creativa, es reconocer que a las personas sin hogar no podemos simplemente que la policía los recoja, que la policía los arreste y se acabó ahí el problema. Tenemos que encontrar opciones para vivienda, que ponerlos en camino de tener una vivienda permanente, de manejar temas de salud mental, de trastornos, de uso de sustancias, y de eso se trata este programa. Sabemos que viene probablemente una ola más de personas sin hogar dada la crisis del coronavirus. Estamos todos trabajando en eso, pidiéndole a los jueces de paz que nos ayuden también para prevenir esos desalojos, pero estamos listos y seguiremos luchando. Este es el principio, no es el final, no es victoria, pero es el principio de una estrategia muy importante y marca un cambio en la manera en la cual manejamos el tema de la falta de hogar en el condado Harris y en la ciudad de Houston. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Mayor, for including me here from quarantine and for your efforts from you and the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Before I turn to Commissioner Garcia, I did want to acknowledge to Tom McCaslin, Director of Housing and Community Development, that's also worked very closely with us on this initiative. Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Judge Hidalgo, Commissioner Ellis, esteemed members of City Council, Mark Eichenbaum, point person for the City of Houston, Tom, thank you all for your partnership. You know, I have dealt with this issue on many fronts. First, as a young beat cop, seen this issue from the front seat of a patrol car. Then, as a member of Houston City Council, Mayor Pro Tem, and one important person of City Council of past that deserves some recognition, and that is Councilmember Gordon Kwan. Did an immense amount of work in his time, and so this work continues. But with the leadership at Harris County, with a renewed focus on helping those who, not for the grace of God, there go I, we are providing a strategy thanks to the leadership, the thoughtfulness by Mike Nichols, the Coalition for the Homeless, Jim Nutter from Harris County, and so many more. And another young lady that is as impressive as our county judge is Mercedes Sanchez, point person in my office that worked tirelessly on this issue. Look, folks, no one wants to drive your neighborhood and have someone try to wash your window or ask you for money. We don't want to see people in our parks. We don't like seeing them in encampments on the side of the road. We point fingers and say, too bad, or someone ought to do something about it. Well, with this incredible, historic, and you'll hear that word many times over, leadership by Mayor Turner and his staff, the partnership that Judge Hidalgo and Commissioner Ellis and myself are bringing to the table, breaking down those walls so that we can deal with an issue that, as Mayor Turner says, knows no boundary, but an issue that affects us all. And as the largest county in Texas, the county that has NASA and the Port of Houston, the community that put the first person on the moon, we have always been a can-do community, and this is an example that we will continue to do everything possible to address an issue that so many have turned a blind eye to. And so I'm so grateful. And then lastly, let me just say, this is the smart thing to do, as the judge said. It's the fiscally smart thing to do. $40,000 it will cost to leave someone on the streets or in the county jail. Because that's the system that we have to support folks. County jail or just leave them on the streets. $40,000 is what it costs, because we send the experts on homelessness, which are law enforcement officers, to deal with this. But through this collaboration, $17,000 will be the cost for those persons that we will be able to help over 2 years per person. 5,000 people. On an average, we have, 1,700 folks on the streets on any given day. And so this is an incredible paradigm shift, as our good judge has indicated. And I am just so proud. I am so proud of my colleagues. I'm proud of our city. I'm proud of our county. But I'm mostly proud of citizens like Jim Nutter, Mike Nichols, who step up, provide leadership and thought to get the job done and create history. But as we have said before, this is not the end, but rather it is a very, very specific example of phenomenal progress that can happen when you collaborate. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to congratulate Commissioner Garcia in particular from our side on the county level. He has spearheaded this issue from the moment he got to Commissioner's Court. And of course, I want to thank Judge Hidalgo. She's the smartest one in the group because she's at home. Mayor, I want to congratulate you. And I think everything I want to say, you pointed it out. I will add that I want to thank our federal partners as well. And we are lucky to have great congressional leaders who have fought to give us this money. And Mayor, you know, the years that you and I were in the legislature, homelessness is an issue that is so difficult to focus on. During the best of times, people would say, well, we're too busy. And then during the worst of times, they'd say, we don't have the money. This is very impressive for Houston, with Nutter and the entire group, Mike, to do this now. It's important during the worst of economic times that the county and the city work together. I want to challenge our state partners. What we don't have is that big ingredient our friends out in LA had. The state of California put money in. And the challenge for us is to sustain this. Because with the federal dollars we're going to use for this, there are other things we got to pick up the tab for. Mayor, your city, unlike us at the county, you have put local money into housing. We have never done that. And going forward, we got to focus on it. I'll close with this. All of us in government are encouraging people right now to stay home. Just think about those people who don't have a home to stay in. And think about the numbers going up. Because in the midst of an economic challenge that in ways will rival the Great Depression, homelessness is a problem now. and we're going to confront it with this money. But there's a great likelihood, as you alluded to, Mayor, those numbers will go up. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you. It's a great day for our region.
Mike Nichols over the Coalition for the Homeless. Mike.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner Ellis. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia, Judge Hidalgo. There's a lot of congratulations going on today, and that is well-deserved. And I have some folks to thank, but I will tell you that now the hard work begins. Now the work begins of actually housing people, putting these funds in the right pockets to make this work. And I'm going to start off with the thank yous because I represent the Coalition for the Homeless and its board of directors, and we're grateful to have Alan Watkins, our most recent board chair, and Lance Gilliam, our current board chair, with us. We also are very grateful to the Continuum of Care Steering Committee, led by Tom McCaslin, who has 2 roles in his Department of Housing, and in this very important role as our community's leader in setting up the vision for ending homelessness in the region. I thank the County Commission and the judge and the mayor and the city council and the Department of Community, CSD department led by Josh Stuckey and Daphne Lamel. I mean, these folks have done great work. And I want to say thank you because I stand here representing the 30 employees at the coalition led by Jessica Preham, Anna Roush, and Sarah Martinez, who have really worked day in, day out to help build this plan, and now are going to help lead this to be the most effective plan in the nation as we house 5,000 folks and put them in a place where we will make homelessness rare, brief, and non-reoccurring. I want to reiterate again what Commissioner Garcia said about fiscal responsibility. We know it costs in excess of $40,000 when a person stays on the street. Most of these funds are on the weight of the county and the city, particularly the health department and the criminal justice system. When we house these people, again, those funds will be not needed, and folks will be in the right place to get good health. And again, during COVID, what did we find? We found that housing is health care. We found that when we said, please stay home, if you didn't have a home, you were not going to have the kind of health care you needed. I want to add 2 other points that I think are important. One is we will need the participation of private philanthropy, who've always done a great job standing with us, to help us fill those gaps that these funds cannot fill, especially with landlord incentives and especially in making sure we have kits for folks to move in so they're not moving into an empty home. The second is we'll need help from Houston and Harris County's landlords. They need to step up and help us house these people and realize that with this funding, they're going to have good clients, good residents with the right support services. Finally, there has been some changes in the budgeting. This is a complex process. The budget has moved from $56 million that was originally discussed to $65 million, and that budget has been updated to reflect the additional ESG funds that will help our clients make sure that they have the best services available to help them stay housed and to make sure that those clients that even need more services can have those additional services. I also want to thank the great folks at Harris Center who are working and partnering with us to add this important psychological and healthcare services that these folks need. Again, I'm thankful to so many people to making this happen. It's going to be a terrific 2 years. We're going to watch the results. We will be held accountable for those results. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Mike. Let me call on Mark Eichenbaum, Special Advisor to the Mayor on Homelessness.
Thank you, Mayor. This is truly a moonshot for the city, for the county, and for our homeless system. You know, from the day one where the mayor took office, he constantly said we must move the needle when it comes to homelessness. And this is that project with the city and the county standing side by side that's going to move that needle. The three main components that the mayor spoke of, each one has a different level of support services that is tied to the different types of assistance. They are specifically tailored to the needs and the levels of vulnerabilities of the clients that it will serve. We are using data-proven interventions here. Not proven nationally, but proven locally. Through the housing that's already happened, more than close to 90% of the individuals, the homeless individuals that are on the streets that we are housing on a daily basis, stay housed 2 years later. It is a very complicated process, to say the least. We have 11 different buckets of funding from 6 different sources, from 4 different entities, all with different requirements and eligibility guidelines. It's really been the task of the Coalition for the Homeless, working with the city's housing department and with the county to figure it out, and I really thank all the entities involved. This is an emergency response that will pay off long-term dividends. And this is truly taking a crisis and turning it into an opportunity. This is a 2-year program, but the majority of individuals will be housed in the very first year. $65 million, 5,000 individuals practically being housed in just 1 year. This is setting a new national standard, and truly the entire country is watching what's being done here in Houston and Harris County. I greatly appreciate the mayor's leadership on this. I greatly appreciate Judge Hidalgo, Commissioner Ellis, especially Commissioner Garcia for introducing this at Commissioner's Court. I really thank all the county and all the 100 different agencies of the Way Home, our homeless response system, that will be working to make this happen. As Mike said, we need landlords, we need management companies. If you're interested in being part of this program, please contact the Coalition for the Homeless. And lastly, we still need to raise the final $6.5 million from private sources. So please, community philanthropy, we want you to step up and join, as partners, the city and the county, because only together can we make this happen. Thanks again very much for everybody's support, and especially the council members who have already supported one item and anticipate their support on all the contracts to come through. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark, and I certainly do want to acknowledge the council members, because without their support, this doesn't happen. And since we are committing to over $40 million and it requires council support, you know, I love each and every one of them so very, very much. So let me thank you. At the same time, I do want to emphasize what has been said, and that is the private philanthropy. These dollars, $18 million from the county, $40 million coming from the city, but there is a tremendous role for private philanthropy, for businesses and others to chip in so that we can do even more for the number of people who will be homeless. So it doesn't mean that people, you know, you talk about 5,000, but there's still every day that there are people who are falling through the cracks, and we need to make sure we do everything we can to address that.